Taking Back the Radio and the movement. The name Taking Back the Radio initially came from the concept of, I guess, heavily commercialized radio music, particularly hip hop, that's sold to the masses, that is, I guess, toxic to our culture. Um, we started talking about, I guess, the radio concept as teenagers, I would say. Um, and I guess we were kind of in the environment that they were, talking about at the time. I guess as far as like where we frequented and stuff like that. But at the same time, we understood things for what they were, and I guess we were on a path to something different. So we would talk about, why are these images being shown, or why are we being shown in this light, and like you don't want to call it a conspiracy or anything like that, but like that's just like I guess how some of our conversations grew, and eventually it grew into the name, taking back the radio, just trying to, I guess, influence or change the culture of radio music. I don't want to call something conscious like conscious music, but just move things, I guess, in a more positive direction. Not saying that, like we're gonna limit people as far as cussing or like what they talk about or what like their display or anything like that. But a lot of times, like it's about your intent and the underlying message, and like I guess that's something about art. That's something about, I guess, us as people. So I guess it was something on a deeper level than just like putting a rating on content. It was like, what are we watching? Why are we watching it? What's going on? What's it making us think about? How's it making us feel? That type of thing. It was never about limiting the type of art that's out there, or what's out there, or anything like that. But it's like there has to be an alternative to what we're being shown. So that's how Taking Back the Radio, the name came about. There was no affiliation to Black Liberation Movement. The logo, I think, was like the second logo concept. And, the person in the logo picture is supposed to be raceless. That was a request upon, I guess, getting the logo made. And, like, I guess kind of how we marketed, and I guess how people perceived us or whatever. Like things kind of grew from there, and we let some things or some parts of the culture just grow. But that was the whole concept. We've had that logo since like 2009, 2010. Just let you know how long everything's been planned, or we've been working on everything. So yeah, like that was the initial concept. So all this talk about black on black crime that came from Republicans and the conservatives and the right, like that was BS. We were addressing that issue from the get go, even through our branding. People just see, a logo and they think one thing, and we're a complex company. I guess like how we address certain issues, like we're doing it a different way, and there's always more to the story. But we were always trying to move things in a positive direction, and that's kind of how the logo and the brand came about, and the name. As far as the movement goes, that kind of came from our content focus. We wanted to move things away from the two-party structure, as far as like these are your only two options. Like if neither side is going to support the issue that you want, then you have to come up with alternatives, and that was the thought process. And also like going along with the content theme, like that was the direction we were wanting to move, the country into. So everything that came after, like the initial concept and like the platform that we were going to use and how we were going to do it, like came from just people just reacting, and that's the crazy part about everything, and why initially we didn't want to just release a statement, because we were initially trying, and this, like hey, after all this stuff that we've seen, like all this bullshit, I'll say it, that we've seen from all these different organizations and companies, like you hate to say certain things that sound like, oh, I'm just trying to say certain things. Um, it's just making me lose my train of thought. But I guess making the point that we did certain things for certain reasons, and we had good intentions for doing them. We did them without any funding besides myself and like what others like would chip in. without any financial backing. We didn't ask for any donations or anything starting out. We didn't even have a revenue stream, starting out. Like that was part of the plan. We wanted to make this something different for our generation, um, that was unique, and authentic, and that, like we were spreading like real energy around. You may see like us cussing. Not even gonna say who, but you might see us cussing. Like cussing somebody out. At this point in time, but it's like you don't know the history of things, and why certain people are being dealt with in a certain way. And a lot of people have bad intentions, and like they saw opportunity once things got going, and try to latch on. But like the movement was started with good intentions, and it was legit like what it turned into, like even along with Ferguson and a lot of the things that they wanted. What we were trying to do complemented them and never interfered with what they were going to do. It's like all we were going to do is give them a platform to talk, or do whatever. Um, so I mean, there are certain pieces that kind of fitted, certain pieces that didn't. I won't go into like all of those details on, I guess, you know, this particular recording, but the movement grew from, wanting to move away from the two parties, coming up with reasonable policy, and we wanted to do it in a creative way, and because we, had a media platform, that was, how the concept grew, and I guess kind of how things evolved. And so we were kind of, the company that was, I guess displaying all these different, artists, whether it be like there was dance competitions, there was, like music videos, there's just all kinds of like, I mean, the protest movement, and some of the creative things that they were doing. There's just so much stuff going on that, you know, the movement kind of created itself. Like once people kind of, bought in, and started, doing stuff. Um, I guess it was probably 6 or 7, 8, maybe 8 months in when, things started to get rebranded to Black Lives Matter. But before then, there was like a distinct culture, and it wasn't about protest. There was no protest at the beginning. It was about building, like it was about mobilizing. I would say it was about mobilizing, and building a culture, and building a foundation, and I guess spreading awareness, within a network that you think would be supportive. Um, so that's kind of how things began as far as the movement goes, and how taking back the radio evolved, and how it kind of ties in, and then how things kind of evolved. So that's the history of, I guess, the movement, taking back the radio. Don't get them confused with Ferguson, because what they did was amazing, possibly a miracle. Um, but yeah, this is factual history. There's people in Ferguson that can give you factual history, um, and let's all hope that we can do something major in these next couple of years, and keep everything going. God bless.